All right, we're going to get into this thing and we're going to talk about it. I am going to make sure my cell phone is off because I tell you, once I get to start recording or doing something that I want to do for somebody else, you know how I'm going to just call it when say what it is that the devil just get busy with me. The fire alarm start going off, the phone start ringing. No one has called all day, but as soon as I get ready to record, we just get busy. So first off, I want to apologize for last Sunday. I don't know if you remember the episode number 17 when I had dedicated that episode to Mr. George Curington Jr., who was a good friend of mine for 28 years. Yeah. That's a long time. So when you can go back and say, I've known this person for 20 years, for 30 years, or 40 years, and still call that person a friend, that says something about you, and that says something about the other individual. Because a lot of times to be a good friend, you have to constantly keep making deposits. You cannot necessarily keep always making withdrawals. Okay, can we talk about it? Can we talk about it? Am I right about it? Okay, it's just like a bank account. You can't go in there and make a withdrawal if you ain't put no money into it. So, this episode is, I'm going to deal with PTSD because this is what I'm dealing with today. Today is November the 3rd, and I want to talk about it because this is where I'm at. So, for those of you that are by the book, this podcast is not for you because sometimes you have to be flexible and go with truly about how you feel. We've got major concerts going on here in Vegas. When I started out the podcast was for survivors. So I'm thinking there's over 60 something thousand people at a concert. Did you even think about what happened 2 years ago before you purchased your ticket? Let me know. Email me, Li Shey Johnson at gmail.com. I'm interested. I just kind of want to know what your thoughts were. When you purchase a ticket, you're going to be out, outdoor concert for 3 days. Mind you, it's a hip hop concert, and Vegas wasn't known for doing hip hop. So that tell you something right there. Money. They want the money. I remember trying to book a couple hip hop concerts and none of the venues wanted to book the hip hop artists. Insurance was crazy. The insurance policies was just like sky high and out the roof. So, I'm going to talk about it. So, I want to dedicate this one to survivors. PTSD, because that's reality and that's what I'm going through. It's 2 years later, and in my mind, I thought this thing would be over with. You know what I'm saying? Do you feel me? Let's just talk about it. This is reality. When people say, oh girl, you gonna be okay. Oh girl, you a strong black woman, you gonna be okay. What does that really mean? Because in my mind, you telling me I'm going to be okay in a week or two or whatever. It's 2 years later. And I'm still having some of the symptoms. I don't even know half the time what triggers it. But I can tell you what I was doing at the moment that triggered it. But prior to, So, this Sunday, November the 3rd, I'm going to talk about the PTSD. And then November the 10th, that's when I'm going to bring on Christine Lopez. She has just been phenomenal. Again, Google her. She's with the Brain Solution. Email me any questions that you want me to ask her prior. Then when you're listening to the episode, I will go ahead and give you the response to basically what your question was. So again, my email is Li Shey, Lishey Johnson at gmail.com. So we're going to talk to Christine Lopez with the Brain Solution. I'm excited. I'm not trying to be a motivational speaker. I'm not trying to be a podcaster. This was something that I set out in my spirit as a way of healing. I was going to do. And where the numbers come from, don't ask me. I don't even know. But I like just dealing with even numbers. So I said I'm going to do 100 YouTubes. So remember, you can go on YouTube and see me live. And I'm up under Why Not Me, October 1, Li Shey Johnson. There's about 85 YouTubes out there. So the goal that I set for myself was 100. And then with this podcast, this was something that I learned on YouTube. You can learn it too if you feel as though, you know what, you want to share some stuff with whoever feel as though they need the information. Information is powerful, especially when it's something that has happened to you. So I'm specifically talking about trauma. So to be a survivor, you have had some kind of trauma. So that's where you get that title from. I'm a survivor. Okay, well, because you have survived something, whether it's domestic violence, whether it's drug abuse, alcohol abuse, domestic violence, whatever the situation is, if you're a survivor, you are a survivor. Okay? Am I right about it? So number 19 is self-care. I am going to end the sessions with self-care, and that's going to be on November 17th. So today episode is off track, but it's number 20, and it's regarding PTSD. Next week, we're going to talk to Christine Lopez with the Brain Solution. That is going to be episode number 18. Then I'm going to wrap it back up with episode number 19, November the 17th, in regards to self-care. So no need to email me. I know that it's out of sync, but this is how I'm feeling. And I just lost a dear friend of mine, and I did not know how I was going to respond, how I was going to handle it. All I know is that his mother called me and said, I need you here. Hop on a plane and get here. Don't worry about nothing. Everything is going to be taken care of. So as a friend, when there's no financial issues or whatever, and someone says that you are needed, this is what you do. You don't sit back and say, well, you know, October 1 happened to me. You don't do that. You say, I'm going to be there. And in my mind, all I thought about is get a wheelchair, take my cane, take my medicine with me, get a compression sock. So here's a tip for you. When I got on the plane, you know, you have your little puke bags, your little waste bags, throw up bags, whatever you want to call them. I had the stewardess fill that bag up with ice. Then the trash bag, the one where they come and say, do you have any empty containers? The little gray trash bag. So I put the waste bag full of ice, put my foot inside the trash bag, and I tied a little knot. So I'm on Facebook, so I did post that picture. And it's just like, it was the smartest thing that I could have done. Is, you know, sometimes we just have to be creative, not worry about what it looked like. You want to be comfortable. And what I did not want to have is my ankle to swell up. I get there while everybody else is grieving, and then I become a nuisance or a problem. I wanted to be there to console the family. And if you remember, I'm not a therapist, I'm not a psychiatrist. What I am is a dynamic event planner. I have planned many wakes, many memorial service. It's just another event. And he would have wanted me to organize and put his memorial service together. And believe it or not, I even spoke. I didn't even think I was going to be able to stand. So now picture a church. It was in a church. I did not go up to the pulpit, but I had them to bring me the microphone because I know he wanted me to say something. And my spirit told me to say that George, healthy person, didn't eat no beef, didn't eat, no pork, no steak. Me, I'm going to eat a cow all day long. He didn't eat no chitlins. If you don't know what that is, Google chitlins. And he would tell me all the time, Shay, while you're going through what you're going through, it's important for you to get your diet together. And you've just got to eat healthy because you're not moving around, which I'm not. I sit and I eat a steak or I eat a burger 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night, or when somebody can bring me something to eat, being that I've only been driving 5-10 miles within the last 2 months, so I've had to depend on people to bring me something to eat when they could. So I have picked up maybe 45, 50 pounds, but I'm not concerned with my weight as of today. I am concerned with getting my mind right. And I am going to just share some things with you. I've been as honest as I possibly could be. But during the memorial service, I said 2 years ago, he would have been speaking for me if I was number 59. So remember, I'm a survivor of the Las Vegas massive shooting where 58 was killed and over 400 was injured and over 4,000 pending cases right now. So to stay on track, I basically wanted to say that October 1, if I was killed, George would have spoke for me. And here I am standing October 28th. And to my knowledge, this man was healthy as all outdoors, played pro ball. His daughter played professional basketball, healthy as all day long, but had a kidney issue that just occurred within the last year and was unable to get a kidney. It's just like, oh my God. And I'm standing here saying goodbye to you when you thought you were going to be saying goodbye to me. Isn't it something? Just hashtag life. Hashtag life. Life is something else. When it is your time, it is your time. You know, my dad said to me about 6 months ago, Li Shey, we're all going to die. That's given. We're all going to die. But what you do while you are alive is the most important thing. What you're doing right now, is that making a difference in someone else's life? What is your purpose? Because we're all going to die. So how are they going to remember you? And I will remember him telling me, you need to take that job with Morgan Stanley. And this was back in the 80s. And I was like, Morgan Stanley? Really? What is Morgan Stanley? He said to me, you need to take this job at Morgan Stanley because someone offered it to me. I didn't even know what the company was, in Starbucks. Okay, I'm in Starbucks and they offered me a job. Back in the day, they hired you on the spot. You didn't have to go through all this stuff that you have to go through now. But anyway, I just wanted to let you know, that October the 27th, I was handling a memorial service. I actually picked out the casket, picked out his outfit. I did everything as a companion would have done. So I'm very honored. And again, I'm going to go ahead and dedicate this episode, number 20, to Mr. George Curington Jr. and his mother, Doris Curington, and his father, who is still alive, George Curington Sr., his sister, Latonya, and his brother, Terry. May George rest in peace. He was a member of Faithful Central in Los Angeles, California. So I thought I would get that out and I don't have to talk about that anymore. But you never know what triggers. So along the way, I'm sitting in the airport. The flights are getting delayed. Can I tell you that I broke out in a sweat? I mean, I needed to find a piece of paper, an envelope, and I started feeling faint. Okay, so that is a part of another symptom of the PTSD. It was like a hot flash, but it was an anxiety attack coming on. Because I personally haven't been around more than 50 to 75 people at one time. To me, it just looked like, bunch of people, bunch of bodies, all together in one room, and everybody's complaining what's going on, what's happening. And it set off a trigger with me where I had to call and get some help. I said, I'm not good. I'm going to need some water. Here they come. They're wanting to take my blood pressure to make sure that I was even okay to get on the plane. So fast forward, those little things like that can trigger you. The reaction of other people being around you, and then having to deal with the memorial itself. So I had this superwoman hat on where I'm going to plan it. This is going to be perfect. This is what he's going to wear. This is what everybody's going to wear. This is what the pallbearers are going to wear, because that's that hat of me as an event planner. But then my heart, when it's all said and done, I'm hurt. I'm hurting. So when I came back home, it's like, how do I process this? So I immediately called my psychiatrist. I said, I'm back and I need to see you. She said, I thought you would be calling me, and I'm glad that you emailed me, Li Shey. I need you to come in. And when I went in, the first time in 2 years, I have said, I am no good. Okay, hear those words. I am no good. Because all this time, people have put a label on you, if you will, or told you you're going to be fine. So you're believing all of this, but you still got to go through the process. So we are still going through the process of a survivor of October 1 shooting. So when I came back home, I said, I am no good. And she started clapping and she said, thank you for saying that. Because every time you come in here, you have this superwoman costume on, and you have finally said that you are no good. So then she put me on restriction. So what does that mean when a psychiatrist puts you on restriction? That means after therapy, you go home. So if you wanted to go to the grocery store, you wanted to go get your nails done, nope, you're on timeout. You have to go home. So she put me basically on a 72-hour, only one thing a day. So the next day, I said, let me go get my nails done. Maybe that's going to make me feel better. And I'll go to Dollar Tree. Oh no. By the time I got my nails done, there was no Dollar Tree. So I get it. So sometimes we want to fall back into our routine, but we're not ready. So do not let anyone pressure you into, you're going to work, you got to get your nails done, you got to go home, cook dinner, you got to get the kids ready for school, you got to do homework, you got to go to the grocery store. That's a lot for someone that has PTSD and going through trauma. You have to do one thing at a time and try to get some help. And I get it, because there's been a whole lot of people that told me, I got your back, girl, just call me if you need anything. I get it, because I'm one of those that I feel like, well, I've already told you I need to get groceries every 3 weeks. Look at a calendar and let's plan every 3 weeks, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock to take me to the grocery store. That's how you can be a good friend and a great supporter of a survivor. So that's what happened to me the whole October 27th, coming back home, and why I decided today, November the 3rd, I was going to move things around and make today episode number 20 and deal with the PTSD, because this is where I am now. So I want to talk to you about helping a loved one with PTSD. Helping a loved one with PTSD. So if your loved one has PTSD, it takes a heavy, heavy toll on the whole relationship, okay, and the family. So it's just not he, her, him, however, he, she. It's not just that. It's a relationship in general. New relationship, dating, married, wherever you fall in, up under quote unquote relationship, on top of your family life. So you may have to take on a bigger share of the household tasks. So if that person was a doer, got up in the morning, made breakfast, got the kids to school, they're unable to do all that right now. And it's really unfair for you to think that they can. Because if they feel as though they can, they're in denial. The same with me. I decided I'm going to pop back and go back to work right afterwards because I loved my job. I don't know about it now. I'm still praying over that. I can handle 10 plates, if you will. So picture 10 saucers spinning, and I'm keeping them all spinning at the same time. Well, that was me. Right now, I do well with keeping one saucer going and trying not to burn an egg, burn toast in the morning. Just trying to keep things going just daily. I can't even worry about tomorrow. I have to deal with where I am today. So the household task, all that stuff, dealing with the frustration, irritable. Oh my God, I'd be irritable as hell because I can't do what it is that I want to do. That's where my frustration come in. That's when I get irritated. And for the last 2 years, one of my therapists and my doctor kept saying, why don't you get a scooter? You know, the scooters that you see in the grocery store or Walmart. And I'm just like, I don't want no scooter. Well, you know what? That's my pride. But can I tell you, as of Friday, I have ordered myself a go-go scooter because I don't want to spend the holidays this year in the house. I want to be able to go to the fashion mall, see the Christmas lights, or go to the Bellagio. And you know what? So be it. I'm going to bling out my go-go scooter, and I'm going to just roll with the go-go scooter and not be in the house this year. So you're dealing with the frustration, the irritability of a loved one who won't open up or even deal with the anger or the disturbing behavior because we don't want to deal with it. Because remember, you told us we were going to be okay. Remember, you told us it was going to take a little time, but we're going to be all right. So that's why I felt that though I could go back to work, take these pills. I mean, literally, I was taking Xanax like on the hour. I didn't want to feel nothing. I just wanted to do my job until I crash. Because eventually you will crash, okay? I'm just letting you know. Eventually you will crash. So dealing with the anger and just the disturbing behavior and us not wanting to open up. That's the PTSD. So the symptoms can also result in like losing a job with exactly what I'm talking about. Or if you had maybe had a couple of drinks prior to the trauma, or you were using drugs, cocaine, meth, heroin, whatever, prior, now all of a sudden you find yourself doing substance abuse. Anything to do to relieve the problem. You just want to make it go away. I was taking the pills because I just wanted it to go away. Because everybody kept telling me how strong I was. I just wanted that pain to go away. I wanted to act like it didn't happen. What I see, these visions in my head, I didn't want to see them anymore. The nightmares, falling out of the bed, and I felt like someone literally pushed me out of the bed where I messed up my ribs. So let your loved one just do a task. Let them lead rather than telling them or her or she what to do. Let them do what they're going to do and you pick up the slack. Take on clues from your loved one. Sorry about that. Take on some clues on how you can be the best provider or support and companionship. That may be taking on the traumatic event over and over, or it may be involved simply in hanging out together, going to therapy together. It just might mean taking them for a drive, going for a walk, and going up to the mountains. If you live here in Las Vegas, go up to Red Rock or go to Mount Charleston and let them just talk about it. Maybe they do want to talk about it 5 days a week. Maybe they do. But I know you're tired of hearing it, but this is a part of it. This is why I decided to do the podcast. I don't have to call anybody and talk to anybody. I'm talking to you as a survivor, because if you're listening, and you've been following me, then you get it. Okay? Am I right about it? You get it, because don't nobody else freaking get it, because they're tired of you talking about it. But we still want to damn talk about it because we can't believe that it happened. Even if you were best friends and you ran and she ran, you feel like you weren't there for each other. So the two of you are not even talking anymore. Your friendship is still there, but it's not as close as it was, because you really want to say, I'm sorry I left you. But those words are not going to come out of your mouth. You know why? Because you felt as though I might die. I need to run. I need to get out of here. That's what happened. And that's just the bottom line. So we have to manage our own stress. The more calm, the more relaxed, focus that you are, the better you are going to be able to deal with the PTSD. So let me just say that again. You need to manage your own stress. You cannot take on anybody else's stress, issues, problems. You cannot do it at this time. Okay? So the more calm you are, the more relaxed, the more focused you are on yourself, the better you'll be able to help yourself or your loved one to kind of deal with this PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. What does that mean? PTSD stands for post-traumatic stress disorder. Once upon a time, they always said it was just the veterans coming back from the military. You know, they get over there and they're at war, they see all the stuff, they come back and they're all just messed up. Well, you know what? Now I think about it, I say, where was the help for them? Because I see where the help has been for me. And oh my God, July, August, September, October. It's only been really the last 90 days that I can honestly say I finally found a therapist that I can relate to. That she figured me out and know that I am a task person. So she gives me weekly tasks to do. The therapist has to be able to figure you out to be able to help you. I've gone through 7 therapists. So if you went and you feel as though that didn't help you, I didn't like that person, he or she wasn't listening to me, that wasn't the right one. And I encourage you and I challenge you to go back, because people are people. We're all individuals. People communicate better than other people. Some people are research people, and they received their degree and did their thesis on studying PTSD. And then there's other therapists that actually went through the PTSD and still struggling with it today, and that can really, really relate. So I'm going to say the therapist that I have as of today, I know she's been through it and is probably still going through it. That's why I can relate to her. So I pray that eventually you do find the right person that will be able to help you, because there is help out there. And again, I'm doing the podcast because you matter. This is episode number 20 regarding PTSD. So plan, prepare as much as possible. I knew I was going to fly, so I had my Xanax with me. I had my emergency telephone numbers on an index card, so I didn't have to figure out, go through my phone if anything was to happen to me. I had an index card in my purse saying, in case of emergency, call my mom, call my dad, call my children. Then I prepared myself by getting on the plane, knowing my ankle would swell up. So I requested ice before the plane even took off, and the whole time flying from Las Vegas over to Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky, Kentucky Derby, home of the Kentucky Derby, I was on ice. So when I got off the plane, I was okay. So that's what I'm saying about preparing. If you know you can't deal with a large crowd, don't go. If you're not in the mood to do something, don't go. If you can't handle 2 or 3 things in one day, don't do it. Don't set yourself up for failure. Because right now, our emotions is like being on the Colossus at Magic Mountain. If you don't know what that is, that's a roller coaster. And it's a roller coaster that's going up and down. It's taking some loops. It's taking some curves. It's coming back around. And all of a sudden it stops. And then it goes backwards. So it's like you could be going forward. Then all of a sudden you feel like you have taken 5 to 10 steps backwards. And you're like, what the heck? What the heck? So common triggers are going to include like your anniversary dates, news stories, every time you hear a shooting. And people are going to text you saying, don't watch the news. Don't watch the news today. It's been another shooting. You know what we're going to do, right? We're going to turn on the TV because we just want to make sure it's not in our damn backyard. So places and other people can also, certain circumstances associated can bring you back into the whole trauma thing. So sounds and the sounds of gunshots or just the smell. So even if you're aware of those kind of triggers, that can upset you. So you want to be in a better position to just kind of help yourself or help your loved ones. Don't be like, here's a glass of wine or so to calm you down. There's some other healthy things. So I'm not pushing CBD or, the cannabis. I'm not pushing that. I am pushing breathing techniques. Learn some breathing techniques. Learn to slow your breathing down and get in control of that. Okay. So don't take on the symptoms of the PTSD personally. So if you have a loved one that seems distant, that'd probably be me. Irritable, that's me. Angry, that's me. Closed off, that's me. Remember that this have nothing to do with you or your relationship. So as a friend of a survivor, you have to better educate yourself in regards to their PTSD symptoms. Okay? Food for thought. I'm just saying. I'm just keeping it real. So the more you know about PTSD, the effects, the treatments, the better equipped you are to help somebody. So when you understand what he or she could be going through and keeping things in perspective, your relationship is going to grow. It is going to grow and it's going to go to another level. So take care of yourself, because a lot of times you neglect your own self psychologically, mental health, while caring for somebody else that have experienced trauma. So letting your family members know PTSD basically dominated your life while ignoring your own needs. It's just like a recipe without some of the ingredients, just like a recipe to burn out, right? So you need to take care of yourself in order to be able to take care of your loved ones. Just reflecting, when my mom had a stroke 3 years ago, I had totally let myself go because I knew this is my only mom. I'm going to sleep at the hospital with her every single day. So that meant, obviously, I wasn't taking care of myself. I was burning myself out, even though she was in the hospital and had 24-hour care. I didn't see it that way. I wanted to sleep in the same room with my mom. And this went on for about 9 months. So let me tell you, just as I get myself back together, bam, October 1. So here we go again. It's just a cycle. But basically, I just want to say, you need to take care of yourself in order to be able to help the loved one. On the plane, what do they say? Put the oxygen mask on yourself first, then put the mask on your child, right? This is basically the same thing. So ask your loved one what they need from you and tell them when you need a break or recharge. It's okay to say, I just need time alone, or I'm just going to go walk, or you need to go to therapy today. Why don't you go see your therapist today, and then we'll go out and have a nice dinner afterwards. You have to be supportive. As a survivor, I need to know that you are supporting me in what it is that I am going through. That it's resonated in your spirit that I need help. and that I'm not okay. It's November the 3rd. It's 2 years later, and I'm still saying I am not okay. So, little tips. As a survivor, we go through guilt about surviving. So then you say, well, what do you mean you going through guilt? Well, because sometimes you think about, man, was I selfish? Could I have helped somebody else? All the people laying there next to me bleeding and taking their last breath, was there anything that I could have done? So you go through surviving guilt. Then it's like the guilt over what you should have done, shoulda, woulda, coulda. Remember that? Shoulda, woulda, coulda. You go through that as a survivor. And then you have the guilt of what did you do? For me, I think about, running, finally made it to my car. People were wanting to get in my car. I didn't let anybody get in my car. I was scared to death. I did not know who the hell you were. So why am I let you in my car? I don't know you from Adam or Eve. So that's a guilt. And then I think about all the people that I asked, hey, they're shorthanded. Can you come and work? Wow, their lives have changed forever. Because if I didn't ask them to be there, they wouldn't have been there. And then remember, I was mad at God. I was just like, God, blaming God. How could you allow this to happen? God, you know how those struggles that I have been through, single mom with 2 kids and this and that, all the shit I've been through. How can you allow this to happen to me? I'm your favorite. I'm your favorite. Well, as of November the 3rd, I can tell you that when the offer came, I said no. No, I don't want to work it. I just want to chill this weekend. Another email came back and said, Shay, why don't you work the concert and go out in a bang? Ha ha, that's not funny anymore. But I did not have to work it. So God had allowed me to be financially okay. So it wasn't about the money. It was just about being out there, working with the clients, because I love doing events and just having a great time. So that wasn't God. That was a decision that I made to be there. But this is how much I have grown in the past 2 years with staying in therapy, doing the biofeed, okay? Working with the brain solutions. I've been on like 24 sessions with Kristen. So next week she is my guest speaker. So I'm not sure what she's going to reveal about me, but it's going to be an open dialogue and we're just going to flow with it because I know that I was a mess 24 sessions ago, and the sessions are like 80 minutes long, and you have to do 14 sessions, then take a break, and then do another 14 sessions. So it's a big commitment on yourself. And then there's the EMD treatment, and then there is the biotapper. So if you're not familiar with victims of crime and you are a survivor, I encourage you to call victims of crime and get some help. All these different strategies, ways of helping you to get better and to help you with the PTSD, help you with PTSD, because it doesn't go away. Let me make sure I'm making that clear. It doesn't go away, but you're going to learn some tools to deal with the PTSD. So there's the EMDR treatment. So it's not like being hypnotized, but at the end of the day, you have to feel as though you're safe to be able to do that treatment. And then go talk about it. Talk about it at your local schools. Can you imagine our kids are now doing drills on gun? I'm baffled with it. I remember being in school, elementary school, we just got under the tables doing an earthquake. When it was like the earthquake drills. Now we're doing gun shooting drills in school. What have our country come to? It's just so scary. But we cannot stop living our lives. We have to continue to live our lives, continue to get professional help. Don't listen to the naysayers. Don't listen to your family unless they are a licensed clinical psychologist or they have a degree in it. Go get some professional help. So PTSD-like symptoms are the only signs of like survivor guilt. Additional signs could include obsessing over what happened. You know, we were all feeling confused. I'm still feeling confused. Unworthy, still living, harping over the meaning of life, or just being like plagued by the sense that no matter where you go, you'll never be safe. So that's kind of where I was. No matter where I go, if I go to the movies, I go to the grocery store, I come out of my house, I wasn't going to be safe. So I didn't really start getting help, I'm going to say, until 10 months later, until I really started working with Joyce with TRY. So remember, TRY, TRY, is Trauma Recovery Yoga. My documentary was just released a week ago, and now I'm working on the book. And I keep forgetting every week to say I have hats for sale for $15. I have t-shirts for sale for $20. The documentary is out. I'm going to do 20 podcasts. I'm going to do 100 YouTube videos, and then the book is going to be out. But I do know that next year I do look forward to going around to a couple of the high schools and colleges, so forth, and talk about it. So if this is God's plan, then so let it be. You know, who am I? I'm here for a purpose, and you are here for a purpose. So realize what your purpose is and be okay with it. Be okay with it. So if there's something that's down there in your spirit that's resonating with you, that's telling you to do something about it, do something about it. Because remember, we talked about the call to action. Get involved in something. This will also help you deal with it. So just the signs of PTSD. Like I said, what can you do? It's going to take time. You have to be patient. But there's a couple of things that you can try to do that exists, so you're just not feeling guilty. So sometimes you just ask yourself, like, who is truly responsible? Well, we know who was responsible, so that's not our fault. So we can't take on that. It wasn't our fault. Hello? So whatever happened, it wasn't your fault. So you're going to have to learn how to deal with it. Don't take on that person's responsibility. It was not your responsibility. And I'm truly speaking on October 1. It was Stephen Paddock. Irregardless to what the MGM could have did to help protect us, to make sure that we were safe, he still did it. So we can't take that on. Okay? Other times, there's just like no one responsible. It could have just been a natural disaster. I mean, look at all the fires that's going on in California. I am from Santa Clarita, Valencia. So needless to say, I was scared. I was calling my children that live in Sherman Oaks. Are you okay? They're just like, Mom, we're being evacuated. So again, that's more trauma. More trauma. This just happened. So it's like the death of my friend passing on October the 10th. October 1 is the anniversary, and then my children being evacuated the week of the 15th through the 18th out of California. It's some scary stuff, but it's real stuff. So nothing you could have done could have predicted it or prepared you for it or even prevented it from happening. Regardless, we still feel freaking responsible. We still feel guilty. It's just like shit. Overwhelming. It's a lot. It's just a lot. So then you start thinking, dang, well, maybe I should have just died. Then I wouldn't have to deal with it. Nah, that's a cop-out. You are spared. You are here for a reason. Share your stories. Email me, Li Shey Johnson @gmail.com. I hope I touched on something. My whole intentions are to just bring awareness, share my journey with you, to let you know that what you're going through is okay. It is okay. Let time be time. You're going to heal on your own time. Take one step at a time, just remembering the breathing techniques that I shared with you. Just remember to try not to overwhelm yourself with doing so many activities, but if you can exercise, that's number one. If you can start doing some of your normal things that you used to do. For me, it was going to the spa, going to the beach, driving to California every other month, going to the movies, going out to eat, getting my hair done once a month. So I'm looking forward to getting back into my normal routine. But currently, I am not. And it is 2 years later. So let time be time. In the meantime, you stay healthy, you stay self-aware, and just try to remember some of the things that provoked you, and then you are aware of it. So if you need your essential oils, whatever you need that's going to help you calm down and stay in control, get those things together and line it up. Well, it's been about 45 minutes, so I don't want to keep you any longer, but take another 5 minutes and just do some breathing exercises and write down some notes. So if you have to go back and listen to this podcast as a survivor or a friend of a survivor, please do. Please do. And if you're a friend of a survivor, just ask them, how is counseling going? If they say they're not in counseling, just say why. I'll go with you. Don't say why and leave the door open, like an open-end question. You say why. I'll go with you. Okay? So please do that. So this is November the 3rd, episode number 20 regarding PTSD. November the 10th, guest speaker is going to be Christine Lopez with the Brain Solution. Last podcast is going to be on 11/17 about self-care. What can you do as a survivor to self-care? We're not being selfish, but this is going to be all about you. God bless you. Continue to pray for our country, and just remember that you matter and you have a voice. Speak up. Talk about it. Talk about it. Get it off your chest. Talk about it. I always say women that make history are not women that are quiet. So remember that. Women that makes history are not women that are quiet. Blessings.